Before we get into today's episode of Daily Brightness, we just want to say a huge thank you to our proud partners, Shaw, for being with us from the very beginning, and what a start it's been.
I think the reaction to our podcast so far has been nothing but positive from our family, from our friends, from our teammates, from our fans. It's been really nice to see all the positive reviews and feedback, so keep that all coming.
Yeah, I also think that we've probably learned a lot about ourselves, and me and Rach always talk about this podcast. You know, it's more than just us chatting. It's actually like a little therapy session. And I've actually learned a lot about myself, and I feel like it's given me the confidence to open up a little bit more and show that more vulnerable side. So yeah, it's been really, really refreshing. And we also get to appreciate all the things that we've achieved. Rach, everything you're achieving with Villa, you know, the form at the end of the season, me getting my 200th in the WSL and talking about all our accomplishments, the hard times. Yeah, it's becoming a really nice platform actually, and I'm really enjoying where it's going. But thank you to everyone for the amazing support.
So thanks again to Shaw for showing up for women's football and backing the pod from day one. And thank you all for tuning in. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Daily Brightness with Millie Bright, Ben Haines, Rachel Daly and whoever the hell is in the background of Ben's screen.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I'm in the stadium. I'm in St Gallen where we've just watched England beat Wales 6-1. Oh, bit of pause. Maybe we're all right. Oh no, we're kicking up. It's a bit of party time afterwards, so apologies for the noise.
Guys, for all the listeners, we are literally jumping on immediately after every single Lionesses game, so we do apologise for the extra noise, but we wanted to give you our feedback, reflection on the games, and yeah, just share our emotion and kind of what we're seeing from our point of view. So guys, what did you think?
I mean, I think it was a comfortable win for England. I think they'll be disappointed to concede, but it's another statement. You know what I mean? It's 10 goals in 2 games. It gives you great confidence moving forward and progressing into the tournament. It was great to see some players coming off the bench as well and having an impact again. But yeah, another comfortable performance for England, and I'm just loving it.
Are you happy for Les? I mean, we spoke so much, Rach, about the fact that she was getting in all the right places. It's brilliant that she's got off the mark now.
Oh, I'm absolutely buzzing. Like, everyone knows I'm a big fan of Alessia, but I think as a striker, as you know, the main focus of England, the number 9 role, it's not an easy place to be if you're not actually scoring, albeit her having such a good game last game. But no, I'm absolutely buzzing for Les. I think plenty more to come.
They announced on TV, Mills, who got player of the match.
I don't actually know. Sorry, that's the thing with setting up the pod. You got to get the pod ready. To be fair, you'd probably give it Les again, because I think like the goals, like she works, like going back to Rachel's point on the previous one, it's the work rate. Like she literally is, for me, she's going to be a massive like key player in this tournament for the Lionesses, and it comes from that work rate from the front. It sets the tone. It gives the players that mindset to work hard, to put in the tackles, to never give in on situations where you think she's going to lose a ball. Just by not giving in on it, she creates something out of it. So I honestly think she's going to be a really, really key player. I know everyone looks at like the likes of LJ and, you know, other players like that, but I think the work Les does goes unnoticed a little bit. So we're going to be number 1 fans, and she deserved it. But there's a lot of chat about, you know, the Netherlands didn't turn up, Wales didn't turn up. But at the end of the day, we've all played in those games, and Rach, back me up here. You still have to put the ball in the back of the net. You still have to work hard. You still have to break teams down. You still have to do all the right things, have the professional mindset. And now England have got this momentum. We've got this, you know, the ball's rolling, and it's perfect timing to go into knockout stages.
Yeah, I mean, I think people write teams off, and it's like, flip the script here, like give England credit. Like whoever you played against, to score 10 goals at a major tournament in 2 games is outrageous. So
it's massive.
I just think though they've put themselves in such a great spot going into the knockouts, because that just gives you so much confidence. Like I said, they'll probably be a little bit disappointed with conceding, but on the night it doesn't matter.
You just take it with a pinch of salt though. Spain have been conceding.
Exactly. I think everyone's been conceding. I mean, France look like they're absolutely flying, but conceded 2 against the Netherlands tonight. So, yeah, I mean, I'm super impressed. I love watching it. It was nice to see Aggie get on the score sheet as well. Yeah. Nido come on and get on the score sheet. I think you can see the chemistry in the team, the way they're celebrating with the bench and things. I think there's that nice view as a fan to watch that. It
goes back to your point before, Rach. Everyone accepting their roles, which we spoke about in 2022, is everyone accepted their role and everyone played their role, and that's what allowed us to win the tournament. There were no passengers. You're not carrying. You can't afford to carry one single player. And I think that's what we're seeing now is from the sofas, like it looks like everyone's together, everyone's happy, subs are coming on, they're fit and firing, they're ready to go. And if it's 10 minutes, it's 10 minutes and you give your best for 10 minutes. And, it looks like there's a really good kind of team togetherness, which is really, really nice to see. And like I said, I think they're getting their momentum at the perfect time.
I feel like we probably need to give a shout out to Kira Walsh as well, because in stadium, she was the one that won it on the night, the player of the match. And, on nights like tonight, she can go through the game without doing anything that's really like electric. I mean, she had that brilliant shot at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But you watch the way the tempo of the game ebbs and flows, and she's basically orchestrating the whole thing. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah, I think we've had a bit better balance, I think that's with the changes in personnel and like Alex going to the left and Jess coming inside and Kira sitting in front of the back line. Like I think we've looked a lot more secure, especially from the France game, which we've learnt our lessons. But last 2 games, I think we've looked really, really solid. And listen, teams are going to get shots, they are going to get goals, but as long as you're winning, that's all that matters in tournaments. And yes, we're England, we will be pissed that we conceded because everyone has that high standard. But the most important thing is that each game we look better and better.
You were saying about that high standard and the fact they'll be annoyed. Will they genuinely come away from tonight feeling frustrated?
Yeah, because you want a clean sheet. We've played in the back line, me and Rach together, and if you concede a shot, like you get a little bit like, fuck, like shouldn't have allowed that shot, like need to keep them out. And yeah, like we talk about like clean sheets, and I think when it comes to, it's good to have that mentality. Listen, if it's 1-0, conceding that goal, it's 1-1. It's a different, luckily we scored a lot of goals, but having that mindset makes you determined to be hard to beat and to defend at all costs. And Rach, that's something we've had for years. That's been part of our DNA and part of our mentality. But the girls will definitely be like, like conceding one it's annoying.
Yeah, I think it's not to be like gutted about, but it's the standard that England set themselves, and we always have done. So I think, yeah.
It's more personally, isn't it?
Yeah, little errors will frustrate the team because, I mean, why wouldn't it? It's you've got that standard, you set that bar so high for yourself. But again, like I would say, coming away, you've scored 6, so it doesn't really matter. Everyone's had a great performance. I think every single player played brilliantly and contributed so much to the game tonight. Kira, yeah, she's just a joke, isn't she? I mean, I think, like you said, Ben, I think it is nights like tonight where you see her true ability and like how she is literally the one that orchestrates everything. So I think we've seen it in tournaments where people stop her playing, but she's so good. I mean, I feel like she almost slips under the radar. I know she's got such a big name and whatever, but yeah, you don't get the credit when you're not on the score sheet, and you don't do things that are like absolutely out there. But she's such a good player, and yeah, I was gutted that she didn't score that at the end, but what a bloody save. Wales, I mean, let's give them a little bit of a shout out. Do you know what I mean? First major tournament, they've scored a few goals. Like, it means so much to them and their nation.
Yeah.
They could have easily come here and gone, we're playing 2 of the best teams in the tournament, 3 of the best teams in the tournament, and everyone probably wrote them off for not scoring a single goal. And I think they've shown moments of brilliance in the last 3 games. And yeah, I think they can hold their heads massively high for the first major tournament.
Well, they've taken their game to the next level, haven't they? And then you'll go another level after that. Football is all about a process. You don't get to the top immediately. Like every team's gone through that level. So like you said, Rach, they've definitely taken their game up a notch, and they'll have learned so much from this tournament. And credit to them, they've still tried to play out against some of the top teams. They've still tried to do all the right things and getting goals. A lot of people did write them off, which you shouldn't do. You should just never do that ever. So like I said, if we don't score that many goals and then they score that goal, it's a different situation.
I do you think that Mills, that the penalty changed the game as well? It felt like up until that point.
And that was a bit of a controversial decision, to be honest, because at first I was like, yeah, pen, and then you watch it in slow-mo and you're like, did G trip herself almost? That for me, that could have gone either way. That just depends on the person sitting behind the screen and how they interpret that situation. But controversial like situation, it could have easily have been given as not a pen.
And you want, on a night like tonight, if you're Wales, you want to grow into that game minute by minute. And sort of they'd started really, really compact. They've been very organised.
Yeah.
From the kickoff, you could see the entire play just shifted about 60 yards. They went, fine, Hannah, you have that ball. and we're going to drop into shape, be really narrow and defend the edge of the box.
We didn't really get through for the first, up until that decision, we didn't really get through like at all. They defended really, really well, and they were just looking to defend and hit the counter, which they got in a couple of times, to be fair. But like you said, it goes back to moments in football, that one moment, and you get a little bit deflated, and then it's hard to come back, especially when the intensity of the England team and they keep that pressure on, and that's something that we've done so well in the last 2 games, is keeping that pressure on, keeping the attacks going, keep pushing for a goal, keep pushing for a shot. But yeah, I think as always, you never know which way these decisions are going to go, to be honest.
Just on Wales, I want to kind of like let people in a little bit on this. Basically, I've got all of the friends and family. We were speaking before about everyone bringing their support network with them to the tournament.
Yeah.
And there's maybe kind of, 200 of the Welsh friends and family down in front of me.
Wow.
And it's really interesting because they don't look upset. They don't look like a team that's been beaten.
Yeah.
And when the players came over, you could see they were just so buzzed that they'd scored that goal at the end, and that they'd had these 2 moments in the competition with Jess Fishlock scoring as well. Fans were unbelievable. They did the march to the stadium again, and I think there was maybe 3,000 or 4,000 of them here tonight. So they were absolutely incredible. And I just wonder whether maybe, even though they were so unlucky with the way that the draw fell, I just wonder whether maybe just having that experience just gives you that taste that you go like, oh man, I want to be back in that. I want to be back playing in that environment again, playing these games, but also then going a step further, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it's like what Millie said, though. I think they've really developed. They've had a few good managers over the last few rounds. And I think, again, what Millie said, you can't come into your first major tournament and expect to be, in the finals. Like, it's a process, and they've worked really hard, and they've got some unbelievable talent. Obviously, we know Rhian really well from the Olympics, Mills, and her time with England, and I know she will want to kick on with them. But I think, overriding feeling for them must be pride. It's they were literally in the toughest group, and they've managed to score goals. They've enjoyed themselves, it's a proper taste of what is to come for them. It does kick you on. They're going to want to make all the tournaments now. They're going to want to keep pushing. They're going to want to progress. And I think you can see their fans. That I think Welsh people are very Welsh, aren't they? And very, very patriotic. And I love that. I love to see that. I think it's a great atmosphere for them to play in, and great for their friends and family, and great for the nation.
I think she'll also be reminding them of that journey, and she'll be saying this is about a process, and we've took a step forward, and now it's about shifting again. I think she'll be keeping the group very confident in where they are and where they want to get to, which I think is a really important thing, which is something we experienced under her. And I think she's fantastic at that, at keeping the belief, keeping everyone kind of together and not being deflated, like taking the positives out of your first major tournament and, using them to make sure that next time you're not just getting by, like you compete and you look for that top 2 spot. So, I think credit to them. I think they've been amazing. And yes, they've not got the results that they wanted, but I think they've shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%.
Right, time for us to take a short break. When we come back, we will have a little chat about France v Netherlands and talk about how Group D finished.
This episode is brought to you by Tinder.
People think that dating is to just find the one, Mel, but I think there's so much more to it than that.
We spoke about it before, about, you have a soulmate in life, but you have a soul best friend, and you're my soul best friend, as you know. I don't think it should be looked upon as just a dating app. You might want just a companion, or, you could have an unexpected friendship blossom. I think it's quite small-minded just to think of it as, I have to find it's a relationship I'm looking for. Like, no, you could find a friendship, and that could be someone that you rely on for the rest of your lives.
I think we've heard a lot of success stories from Tinder, from people in relationships and stuff. But like you said, it's not just about that. It's about, you might not get on with them romantically, but they might become your best friend, or someone that you can go to the pub with and have a drink with, or go do a pub quiz with. So I think there is a lot of success behind that as well. It's not just finding the one.
Yeah, as you say, Tinder is for all types of connections.
And it works because on Tinder, a new relationship starts every 3 seconds, from slow burners to instant sparks.
Wherever it takes you, it starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today. Welcome back, guys. We are now going to discuss the Netherlands-France game. Benji, let us in on that.
So I was trying to keep across both games at once, and there was a moment in this game where the tables flipped. There was a moment where it looked like England was suddenly going to go through top of the group. And I mean, just before I get into the kind of like Netherlands-France stuff, I was really intrigued to know, like, would that have been as much of a disaster as I make it out in my head as a fan for England to go into the half of the draw with Spain and Germany?
Honestly, I think when it gets to knockout stages, it does not matter who you face. Because we know as players, like, whoever you're facing, the reality is you're going home or you're going through. And you've got to bring your A game no matter what. And it's anyone's to take. Like, it doesn't matter what you've done in the groups. Like, all that's irrelevant. It's 90 minutes, potentially 120 minutes of football. Like, and that is it. And I think that's always been our mentality as players is doesn't matter who you face. Like, it doesn't. And obviously people will probably be looking at the likes of Spain and, you know, and their momentum. But look how quickly our momentum switched. And now we've scored double figure goals in 2 games. Do you know what I mean? So tables can turn very, very quickly. So I think for us, it was just a matter of qualify, and whoever's put in front of you, you tackle then.
As again, of course, I'm in fan mode, so I'm thinking, God, you don't want to play Spain in the semi-final, but the reality is you're going to have to play Spain at some point anyway, you know.
And we've done it before.
Yeah, exactly. And look, when you guys won it, you had to weather that storm, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was sort of saying Spain were the team to beat, and you found a way.
Anything can happen in a knockout game. Anything can happen, like literally anything. So I think it's just a matter of you qualify, you get your job done, you recover, you make sure you keep that momentum, and then you smash whoever's in front of you.
And this one was really interesting because Netherlands, I was so disappointed by the way that they approached the game against England. I thought we were going to have a really open end-to-end game, and the way that they set up just didn't really bother England at all, other than that Viv chance that we spoke about after maybe 5 or 10 minutes or whatever it was. Tonight was a little bit different. They were a little bit more structured. They were a little bit more organised. They went behind to a very good volley from Teletti, who took it really beautifully. But then Palova scores on the counter.
I've seen that goal.
I mean, it's a lovely strike, isn't it?
I do think though, I do think the Netherlands, there was a period of time at the beginning of the game where they were on top, because I was watching both. I had that one on my laptop, and I thought, yeah, it looked like a different Netherlands. And I thought, we're in for a bit of a weird night here, because I couldn't work out which way it was going to go. And then obviously, when they went 2-1 up, I thought, you can never say die attitude with France, is it? But there was a large part of that first half where I thought, Netherlands look like they've flipped the script here a little bit, but they're just so ruthless.
We also thought France were going to be out the blocks because they rested a lot of players in their last game. So we were all like, oh shit, they've rested a lot of players, like they're going to come out the blocks, whatever. But I think the biggest question is obviously Viv didn't start, and nor did she make an appearance. So hoping there's not a big injury there, but that's a crucial player not to have in a game in a must-win situation.
I can only think that would be an injury though. Like, I can't wrap my head around in such a big game. If you're not injured, why wouldn't you play her? It was a strange one. So
yeah, you have to have her on the pitch.
I hope there wasn't an injury. I hope she's okay. So all of our best wishes to her. But it would blow my mind to make that decision if there was no injury there.
Well, I mean, she was stood with Andrus Jonker, like in the dugout, kind of talking about things and pointing at various stuff on the pitch. And it looked like there was a fairly kind of like good relationship there, and you can imagine with Viv, if she was like dropped and left out,
oh yeah, you
would know from her face. Like,
she's also had a really tough run with injuries, hasn't she? So I really hope that it's nothing major, but to keep her out of a must-win game.
She was on the bench though, so at least that gives you a positive sign that it wasn't it's nothing major. Maybe she's just overloaded. She's had a tough, like you say, tough few runs with injuries. So fingers crossed she's okay. But yeah, it was a strange game, I thought. Like,
good finish for France though.
Cascarino's finich. Oh my God.
Take a bow. That is filth.
I literally was just like
that's one of them where you don't even say anything, you just watch it back and you're like.
Also, like, Netherlands, like, Daphne is a phenomenal goalkeeper, and she's now conceded 9 in 2.
Yeah, it's not a good stat, is it?
I don't know. I think there's got to be questions asked of how many they're conceding. I
mean, the ones that are like screamers, you're like, fair
of course.
play.
And I was by no means saying it's Daphne's fault. I rate her very highly. I think she's a phenomenal goalkeeper, but I just think to concede 9 in 2 games at that, as a standard that they'll probably set themselves, has got to be looked at, I think.
Well, especially after our game. You'd think you'd be tightening up. Like, you don't make the same mistakes twice.
No matter who you're playing against and no matter where you're playing, whether it's groups, knockouts, like to concede 9 is a very big number for a top nation. So
the other thing tonight that I think they need to look at is the way that they've fallen apart again. It's not just conceding the goals, because you can concede to Cascarino in the way that, I mean, she's now making a play for player of the tournament. Like the way that she's going about business at the moment, she's beaten 3 players there, chopped inside and then whipped into the top corner.
But even that, it's too easy. You can't skip past 3 players. Like, you're in a must-win game. Like, you do the basics, and you do the basics brilliantly. Like, you win your battles, you win your duels. That's how you change momentum in a game. You put your tackle in, you get your team going, you spread that energy. You can't skip past 3 players in a must-win game.
And then beyond that, you've got to react, right? If you've conceded 2 goals in 4 minutes or whatever it was, 2 goals in 3 minutes, you have to react to that point, surely, to be like, okay, just shut up shop now for a bit. Like, everyone just calm down.
Just get everyone together. You're like, fucking hell, guys, like, we've got to win this game. Like, this is us, like, going out or going through. Like, that's the situation.
Then they concede again in 3 minutes.
For the talent that they have and the calibre of team that they are, you probably expect a little bit more. But yeah, very, very weird game. But I think positives for France is that they've come back from being behind, they've overcome another hurdle, and in tournaments it's good to have little setbacks because you get to know each other as a team. Then, like our situation, we lose to France, we know how we bounce back, we know then how we develop and how we get better, and you need that in tournaments as well. It can't be smooth sailing. So I think they've proved that they can come back, players come on in the games, score a ridiculous amount of goals and completely change the game. So positive for them. But yeah, I think really disappointing for the Netherlands.
Yeah, like that. I think the biggest thing that they'll take away is that everyone said this was kind of like, as we called it, the group of death.
Yeah.
And they fell into the trap of playing the group and not playing their game against both France and against England. Got themselves caught up in games that they didn't want to be involved in. They got it tactically wrong against England, and they got it emotionally wrong against France. And I think that's probably cost them over the course of like 2 lots of 90 minutes. Suddenly they're going home in the group stage again, and it's another example of Netherlands underwhelming at a tournament when, like you said, Millie, if you look at them player for player, you put them ahead of so many other teams in this tournament that have made it through to the knockout stage.
But now it's getting exciting because it's knockout.
Crunch time now.
Right, that's it for today's episode of The Rest is Football Daily Brightness. Tomorrow we'll be releasing the next episode in our Euro 2022 Rewind series. It's all about the quarter-final from 3 years ago and reliving a nail-biting game against Spain.
Then on Wednesday, we'll be back to preview all the exciting quarterfinals we've got to look forward to this year. Some mouth-watering games like England versus Sweden and France versus Germany. Goodbye from me and have a great week, everyone.
Bye-bye from me.